the Valley today. The gloves came off for Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump last night. We'll bring you up to speed on both campaigns after their final debate in Las Vegas.
And Moorhead police investigating a violent fight that broke out overnight between two roommates, sending one of them to the hospital.
And a little below normal in terms of temperatures today, but we have a nice warm up ahead. We'll give you the details on weather to plan your day.
Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is the Valley Today on Fargo CW.
Do you make the same commitment that you will absolutely, sir, that you will absolutely accept the result of this election?
I will look at it at the time. I'm not looking at anything now. I'll look at it at the time.
It's the moment everyone is talking about this morning. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump refusing to say whether he would accept the outcome of the general election. Hi, everyone. Thanks for waking up with us. It's just after 7. I'm Lisa Bedeau here with Kyle Bosch.
Of course, we are getting started with our election 2016 coverage this morning. The presidential candidates and their surrogates will be back on the campaign trail in key states today, following last night's third and final presidential debate.
Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump went toe-to-toe for 90 minutes in Las Vegas on issues like Russia, the economy, and immigration. And of course, Trump saying he may not accept the election results. Wei Zhang has the latest from Las Vegas.
Is to replenish the Social Security Trust Fund by making...
The tense Sin City showdown ended as it began, without a customary handshake between the presidential nominees. But one of the most controversial moments of the night came when Donald Trump refused to say whether he'd accept the outcome of the general election.
I will tell you at the time. I'll keep you in suspense.
That's horrifying. You know, every time Donald thinks things are not going in his direction, he claims whatever it is rigged against him.
At least 3 Republican senators, including Arizona's Jeff Flake, immediately condemned the remarks on social media, as did Clinton's campaign. This group of uncommitted voters was left divided.
It'll inspire disconnection from a lot of the population from the political process.
To say, no matter what the results are, I will be okay with it, without knowing what's going to happen, I don't think anybody would do that about anything that was serious.
The third and final debate here in Las Vegas was dominated by substance, from abortion to the economy to Russian interference in the election.
Putin, from everything I see, has no respect for this person.
Well, that's because he'd rather have a puppet as president of the United States.
No puppet.
Both candidates addressed their looming controversies as well. Clinton on her family foundation.
Everything I did as Secretary of State was in furtherance of our country's interests.
And Trump on the numerous sexual assault allegations against him.
I think they want either fame or her campaign did it. And I think it's her campaign.
Voters get their say in less than 3 weeks when they head to the polls on Election Day. Wei Zhang, CBS News, Las Vegas.
Well, as you might have expected, Donald Trump's comments about the election were also the big talk in Spin Alley last night.
Valley News Live Washington Bureau Chief Jacqueline Policastro reports from Vegas.
The candidates didn't shake hands before or after the debate. That tells us what we can expect for the rest of the campaign. Welcome to fabulous Las Vegas, a place where Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump played their best cards.
Donald thinks belittling women makes him bigger.
The one thing you have over me is experience, but it's bad experience.
Reporters pushed up against the Spin Alley pen, waiting for the aftermath.
Senator, are you saying that Americans should fear a Trump presidency?
Yes. I mean, after the performance tonight, certainly they should. Here's somebody who wouldn't accept the election outcome. We're a nation of laws, not of men.
For a view, some stood on chairs 5 people deep. Cameras stacked as high as the TVs. Photographers even used the good old head balance. The chaos, a mirror of the intense moments on stage.
Your candidate is down in the polls. What's next for Donald Trump?
You know, we're not concerned about the polls. You know why? Because the primaries had him down in the polls. The primaries said he would never beat 5 candidates, 10, 20. He beat 16.
With 19 days until Election Day, Trump is campaigning in Ohio, and the president is stumping for Clinton in Florida. Reporting in Las Vegas, I'm Jacqueline Policastro.
Clinton and Trump will both deliver remarks at the Alfred Smith Memorial Foundation dinner in New York tonight. The event benefits charities that serve New York's neediest children. Breaking news this morning. 2 people are in jail after a traffic stop early this morning turned into a drug bust.
Police say an officer stopped a car for having a burned out headlight on I-94 near the Red River Bridge and detected signs of deception and possible drug use. A search of that vehicle turned up homemade fireworks, drug paraphernalia, 117 grams of methamphetamine, and nearly $1,700 in cash.
21-year-old Larissa Galloway of Moorhead was arrested for possession of a controlled substance and drug paraphernalia. 25-year-old Levi Melby of Fargo was arrested for possession of a controlled substance, hypodermic syringe, and illegal fireworks. Also breaking this morning, 1 person is in the hospital and another in custody after a fight between 2 roommates overnight in Moorhead.
Police say they were called out around 1:30 this morning to the 1300 block of 4th Avenue South, but they believe the fight had apparently been going on for several hours. Officers are still investigating the incident and are not sure yet if charges will be filed. They do say, however, that there is not a danger to the public.
New for you this morning, 2 men have been arrested by the Grand Forks Narcotics Task Force on meth charges.
33-year-old Kurt Knowles and 64-year-old Troy Oisted are both facing a felony charge of possession of meth with intent to deliver within 1,000 feet of a school. The pair was arrested after meth was found during a search of Oisted's home on Walnut Street in Grand Forks.
Let's get a check of our weather now with Justin Fanfarelli, and it's a very chilly start to our morning.
Yeah, we're seeing some of the coldest air we've seen this week over us right now, but it won't last long as we will really start to warm it up starting tomorrow. Here's a live look outside. We're seeing more clouds as you look north of Fargo, less clouds as you look south of Fargo. Right now we're seeing partly cloudy skies out there. Here's a live look at our sky cam showing that we will see temperatures getting through the 40s to near 50 as we go throughout the day. Still partly to mostly cloudy skies. We will keep that northwesterly wind as temperatures will stay down. We're seeing a temperature of 27 right now. Fergus Falls, Wabaton, 32 at Detroit Lakes, 28 as you make your way out toward the Wadena area. Near the freezing mark near the Canadian border, and Devil's Lake and Jamestown are the warm spots at 38 degrees. We are seeing the clearer skies down toward the Southern Valley into Lakes Country, mainly cloudy skies. Elsewhere, the thickest clouds out toward Devil's Lake and Jamestown, but everybody is staying dry for this morning. We have that high pressure system working its way in a northerly flow, and we will keep that northerly flow as we go throughout the day today. So temperatures are going to be down there until the high starts to crest over us and move to the east, and we're going to see more of that warm air filter in for Friday and for the weekend. Temperatures starting off near 30 and rising to near 50 as we will keep our share of clouds as we go through the afternoon, but everybody does stay dry with that wind mainly from the north or northwest. Then as we go through your Friday morning, temperatures will be about 5 degrees warmer as most of us will start into the mid-30s, and we'll be about 5 degrees above where we were today in terms of high temperatures, as we will see high temperatures into the mid-50s in most places as we will keep partly cloudy skies, but you will see a nice clearing trend as you go through Friday evening and then work your way through the day on Saturday. Upper 40s to near 50 out there for the day today, partly to mostly cloudy skies when we stay cool. And then we really start to warm it up. 56 for tomorrow, breezy, mostly sunny skies through Saturday. 65 your high, 61 partly cloudy skies on Sunday, then 67 Monday, mainly sunny, with a chance of some showers Tuesday and Wednesday, and temperatures falling from the mid-60s to near 60, but still well above normal for this time of year.
Looks like a great weekend for
Yep,
sure.
it will be.
Thank you, Justin.
A Fargo man has been sentenced to more than 41 years behind bars for a shooting in Dilworth. 25-year-old Lloyd Johnson was found guilty of 6 counts of attempted murder.
Police say Johnson was part of a group of people who fired several shots into an apartment building last year. No one was hurt in the incident. Fargo police say they need your help finding a missing teenager. 16-year-old Ethan Kuchera is about 5'10", 140 pounds with brown hair and blue eyes.
He was last seen October 13th in the 1100 block of 3rd Avenue South in Fargo. We have his picture up on your TV screen right now. Now, police think that Kuchera does have ties to the Grand Forks area as well as Fargo. If you do have any information about his whereabouts, you're asked to call your local police.
The Minnesota State Patrol is investigating after a crash involving a truck and semi-trailer near Holly left 3 people seriously hurt. It happened just after 3 yesterday afternoon. State Patrol says 40-year-old Ryan Kearney of Fort Ripley, Minnesota, was heading east on Highway 10 when his truck clipped the semi.
13-year-old Ethan Kearney and 10-year-old Drew Kearney were passengers in the truck. All 3 were taken to the hospital with serious injuries. The driver of the semi was not hurt in the crash.
A northern Minnesota woman has been sentenced for stealing nearly $6,000 from a GoFundMe account. set up for the families of 3 men who drowned on Lake of the Woods. Rutina Lavala pleaded guilty to the theft and will not spend any more time in jail. She was given credit for 60 days already served and put on 5 years probation.
Authorities in northwestern Minnesota are investigating the death of a hunter whose body was discovered in Marshall County. Deputies found the body of 65-year-old Richard Sheik in the Thief Lake Refuge Tuesday afternoon. It was about 100 yards from where his boat was found capsized. Investigators believe that Sheik had been out hunting when some sort of accident happened. They do not suspect foul play. His body was taken to Grand Forks for an autopsy. The North Dakota Highway Patrol has now identified the 4 people who were killed in a car crash in northwestern North Dakota. Jasmine and Robert Whiteowl, Mario White Mountain, and Robert Yellow Wolf, all from Mandaree, died in a crash that happened Monday night.
Troopers say they were killed when the driver of their car failed to stop at an intersection east of Newtown. The 2 people in the other vehicle were not hurt.
A Grand Forks man is facing charges in a case of apparent elder abuse. 25-year-old Joseph Kuntz of Grand Forks has been charged with beating up his parents after they took his guns away because of a substance abuse problem. According to court documents, Kuntz allegedly put his father in a stranglehold and pushed his mother down. He already has a criminal history for 2 other assaults.
We have details just ahead on a number of new auto recalls for airbag problems and fire hazards.
And have you checked out the interest rate on your store credit card lately? You might want to take a closer look. Some are charging you more than 30%.